You know, when I got in the game, I started with just regular Craigslist, or I don't even think it was Craigslist back then. It was the auto trader dogs, and just pit bulls back in the days. I think I got my first pit in 2000 actually. But how I got into the, you know, pit bulls back then was through the homie Arturo from Southtown Pits out here in San Diego. He had a dog, you know, that he was getting rid of for 300 bucks. I'm like, damn, who's gonna pay 300 bucks for a dog? You know, and he was full Razor's Edge off of Dozer and Daisy, later to be known Capone. So I ended up getting him. You know, when I first seen him, I looked at him, I'm like, damn, this dog's 14 weeks old, and he looked like he was 4 or 5 months old. You know, he was just so solid and opposite of what I had. So it kind of blew my mind. I'm like, you know, the bone, the spread, you know, it was just kind of crazy. So it was new.
Okay. And now, from that dog, did you start your yard based off of him?
Yeah, I ran with Capone. You know, obviously, when we get dogs, I didn't think I was gonna get in the game like this. I mean, it's just contagious. It's like tattoos. But I stuck with Capone through everything. With you know, the fact that back then was 2 American pits. So he was full Razor's Edge, but no, he was my go-to. He lived 13 years. He's known to throw nothing but body. You know, she-males, the real trim she-males, where females look like they're straight males. You know, females that are wider than males. Biggest regret with him though was I was very private on breeding him. I should have bred him a lot more to give him more chances, but I was just a little bit more pickier.
Okay. And how long were you breeding with him for a while? Because I know there's a period of time you took a break.
Yeah, I mean, I think I went out, you know, a good 5-6 years with him. You know, then the first, you know, marriage, you know, it kind of, you know, I got divorced and everything, and you know, dogs play a big role in that. You know, you consume so much time, and with the shows, I mean, the barbecues back then, we would go to UKC shows just to promote. They wouldn't have these big things now. They would be, you know, Pam Carter shows, Ron Ramos, you know, names that I guarantee these new era people have no clue who they are. So we would go be the outcasts. So you think there's outcasts now with a bully game, you know, when you rock a Razor Edge dog, and I know Dave Wilson did a great job promoting it and really trying to get it with Knuckles and all that, Grand Champion Knuckles. But I had stopped for a while, so I would say the first 5 to 6 years, you know, I was doing it. I mean, he probably has maybe 50 kids out there, you know, in his life, and which is nothing. I mean, that's a month or two for some of these new cats.
Oh wow, that's very interesting. So now that you say that you put a lot of work in, what other people did you work with? What other kennels back then?
Back then, it was Benny from Blue Edge, who's kind of out the game right now, Blue Edge Pits. That was Capone's first breeding with a full edge female off of Daz and Jules. She was actually the 7th pick female. Back then, the picks were based on opposite to what is now. Nowadays, they want the small, they want the runts. Don't get me wrong, runts even back then could turn out to be the best, but they're literally looking for the smallest looking dog now. Versus back then, you know, the picks are based on pure substance, bone, just structure, head. You know, just they were looking for that boom dog, that big dog. But that was his first. You know, I worked with, you know, I had stuff from Pratt's Pits, who's still in the game, who's 100%, you know, edge and doing the right thing. You know, Cassidy, owner of Manu, Bullseye Kennels. You know, obviously LoJack, Big Fate Pits, now known as Remy Line, for the RKC people. Did Remy's first Razor's Edge breeding, full edge breeding, with Capone's daughters. So, just again, like I said, I wasn't as big as I probably should have been or could have been. It wasn't a full-time job for me, even though having these dogs it is. I had a regular job, I had a family, but things just kind of, you know, changed now.
Alright, so now stepping forward, when you came back into the game, what did you expect? And were you already looking into it and see what was out there, or did you come unexpectedly and just seeing the evolution of what you were used to breeding?
Right. When I got back in it, there's 3 living Capone kids still to this day. There's 2, a daughter and a son that's probably 12, 13 now, maybe 14. Then when I moved, and I got a 3 times Capone son in my yard, and I went and got a Husky, I got a German Shepherd. I was totally out of the game. Then I started thinking, why would I stop doing something that I love to do? The passion these dogs, producing beautiful dogs, and overall meeting a lot of quality, great people in this game. So I reached out to John Giannone, who was the owners of Dozer and Daisy, who created Capone. And he's like, oh bro, I got a litter. I bought a breeding pair from Roger from West Coast Gotti, so who's still doing big things. And I'm like, really? It kind of shocked me because John did fire, and when I seen the litters, I'm like, dude, what made you go that route? It looks completely different to what we have or what we've had. And John himself said, Rob, the game's changed. I mean, it's changed 100%. I go, dude, but they kind of look like bulldogs. It's just a different look. Let's just be honest. Anybody can see a true pit, a mix, or a bulldog, English, American, whatever it is, Frenchie, Boston. So I looked more into it, and I went to go see John's yard. And again, this is where I tell a lot of people, when you get treated right by a breeder that you buy from, and there's nothing but love and happiness is, when you're happy with a product. All these years later, I went back to the source, who I got my original Capone from. So this is what started the new yard. This is when I got Mamba, 2 times West Coast Gotti gold mine, big money. So right up top, and I kind of built my yard from that, and that's how I got the widest dog in the world with Capone.
Okay. And okay, now that you have Capone and that's who your yard is based off, which now you've introduced game, we're going to get to him in a little bit. When you went to your first show from being gone, what was your reaction? What was your thought?
Man, Capone my Capone shouldn't have been there. I think I even told you when I went to the IBR show, the very first IBR show, I'm like, dude, I don't think I should be Capone. And you're like, dude, Rob, people need to see size. People need to see that. But when I went there and know what I had now in my yard, because, you kind of build yourself up, you got to be ready. It blew my mind. It was an eye-opener. The game's changed so much. I won't say for the worst or the better. I think it's a good fashion type of thing now. It's like kind of like if you're into cars or muscle cars or rice rockets. It's all preference, and respect to all of them that are doing it consistently. But they're a bunch of mixed dogs, and I think I've been saying ingredient alert for 2 years now. There are a bunch of mixed dogs that can't really walk and run, and they can stack on a little table like right here. Just different from what I'm used to. Overpriced shows, overpriced. I mean, it's a money maker type of industry. No hating on that, just being real about it. That's why September 23rd, this month, San Diego Home Team Barbecue, we're doing something free. Come out, bring your bullies, your dogs, your pit bulls, your chihuahuas, your mom, and see what free's all about. All the San Diego kennels put in money to get the trophies, to get the ribbons. I even think the shows are free, just to enter. It's just a free, old school type of environment. Again, no disrespect to the people making the money off of this, because it's a lot of work you guys do. So much respect to that, but the game's changed 100%.
So okay, so let's get back to your yard. So Capone is your main stud, and now you're gonna so let's talk about him right now. Let us know a little bit about Capone and what he's doing and what he's been doing for you.
Capone, it was weird with Capone. Capone came out of a litter where he was the only blue brindle, out of the retro black and grays blues, right? And when Capone, my original Capone, passed away, Capone's mom, the new Capone's mom, was with him. We make a joke of it. I think Capone, my original Capone, probably busted a load in Diamond, because out of this litter of 9, there's only the blue brindle. So right when they were all born, hour 1, 2, I'm like, that's the one I'm keeping, because original Capone passed away, and he had the white blaze, the socks. I mean, just the craziness of, like, man, that's kind of weird. So to me, I believe in karma. I think the original Capone left me with this kind of mirror image. The The newer Capone is a better, wider, shorter. No, not shorter. Capone was shorter. Just everything I needed with head. Capone, original Capone, would hold his own in the new era if he had that head. But Capone now, original Capone Jr., again, I'm picky. I'm breeding for him. Realistically, he had a litter of 5, 4 passed. So he has one male by the name of iCloud. He has one female in Florida. We just did a breeding right now with Yoshi, so a direct Yakuza daughter. So right now I'm barely starting to get him in when he's 3 years old. So 3 to 6 is his prime for me. I'm going to keep a couple things, but that's my dog. There's a couple studs out of state that are waiting for females. But again, he's not a lot of people's style. You know what I mean? He's a little taller, a little longer. He's not as freakier, but he is the widest spread, bone, 28-inch head, 95 pounds solid. Just anywhere and everywhere I take him, I mean, it's a crop pleaser. I call him the jawbreaker, the table breaker. He's a very, very good dog. So we're looking forward to doing bigger things.
Okay, and then I know you switched it up with your new stud, which his name is Game. He's very impressive. He impressed me since he was a pup, and I got a chance to see him. What can you tell me about him, and what can people expect out of him?
Man, first of all, I want to thank John Neer from Bahala Pits for making that call to me. Random call. I bought a Yakuza dog off of him, and he hit me up months later, and we were just talking. And you know, when you get a call from a good friend, but then you get a call random in the middle of nowhere, basically it was just kind of a shock. And he just like, yo, check your phone. So I checked my phone, and he had a 13-week-old picture of Game, and I'm like, dude, who's that? He goes, bro, you know me, man. I come out, Rob, you gotta check this pup out, this litter, blah blah blah. And right then and there, I'm like, dude, what I gotta do to get him? You know, again, I have Capone, but I need something to complement him. I got a couple other males that will blow things away, but you still gotta be on your game, you know. And it's not bad to have multiple studs, because at the end of the day, you can only use your couple studs so many ways, where you can just use one female, go Capone, go Game, go Boom, go whatever you want. But he's a Bada Bing son, bred to a direct roach daughter, so Bolo blood all there with Miyagi. What to expect from him? He's 9 months old. When he was 6 months old, 7 months old, he looked like he was full grown. Pictures and videos do this dog no justice. From head to tail, rear, bone, spread, color, for all you color lovers. Just again, big respect to John Neer from Bahala Pits for just blowing us away with this dog, who has M80, who has Death Row, who all the litter mates are fire. So he's a little bit, again, he's not a 10-11-inch dog, but he's short, bully, just full of mass and head. Okay,
so with that being said, I know the males are your main, but what about the females? Because there's 2 females here that I'm very, you know, I've told you before personally, that are my favorite. Let's talk about Yoshi and China.
Yoshi and China are Yakuza daughters, direct. I know people hate saying direct, but they are legitimately direct. I'm not one of those guys that say I got Miyagi direct. My Miyagi blood is a grandkid of Miyagi, not even, you know, a grand. You know, I dislike when people say, oh, I got 4 or 5 times Miyagi, and Miyagi's not even on the pedigree until you flip 7 pages. I got 2 direct Yakuza daughters, Yoshi being, to me, my 2 favorite dogs in that era was Uso. So it's a daughter to Uso bred to a Miyagi son that created her, and then China's off of Bullseye blood with Yakuza. So I like saying there's only a few Yakuza actual blood kids out here in California. I got 2 of them. A lot of people trying to buy them. You know, maybe when I breed one and I get what I need, you know, you never know. And then I also got a prodigy daughter at my homie's house. And then I got a 5 times Karate Kid, or 5 times Miyagi, 3 times Karate Kid, granddaughter of Akuma. So our females I'm very proud of. I also got a bulldog bred to the 2 times Miyagi. That's by far my shortest dog. She's about literally 9-10 inches off the ground. Bully, short, no tail, just she's everything that people want. But the difference with her, she loves to run and fetch and swim. And then I got Miko, our Frenchie, 2 times Blue Moon. So we got a little bit of everything out here.
Okay, so thank you for telling us a little bit about your kennel. But one of my final questions is, are you going to go with the hype, or are you going to stay in your own lane and keep it true because everybody else knows you as their Mr. Keep It 100 and boom? So what can you tell me about that?
You know, honestly, we all think we got hype. Every single buddy. You got people that can talk. I like to talk, but I like to be 100% right. I own up to all my wrongs, all my rights. I'm not one of those guys that are saying that I'm selling these dogs for 10, 15, 20,000. You know, I say 2 to 5 is what I sell. You know, I got my last 5 buyers waiting on litters are at 5,000 each pop. I felt through my years and through when you look at my yard, the consistency, I feel that I'm there. Would I ever want to sell a dog for 10, 15? Yeah, if someone's really serious, they're going to buy it. You know, I mean, I say this 2003, 2004, Ruckus Kennel and myself, you know, we had a dog sold for 30,000, and this is in 2003. You know, this guy came to my yard and bought $60,000 worth of dogs, and Fabian from our RKC contested that. You know, Rob was sick with pits. I even sent him over there. I'm one of those guys that when people come to my yard, I share all the yards, not just me. Because you might see what I like, you might see what I have, you might love it, you might like it, but you might like something else that I can help somebody else generate any kind of income. So I'm one of those that like to not be the hype or follow the hype, but I'm just confident in what I'm doing. I'm not really, yes, you need Miyagi blood. Yes, you need this blood. You know, Miyagi's the base of everything. You know, I can't even really name too many other dogs besides Dax, Bullseye, Miyagi. You know, Carlitos, I'm hearing, is doing big things. I know a bunch of Frenchie mixes are doing a bunch of big things that people are just saying. You know, pedigrees now don't exist, which is sad. But again, it's a different market. If you have that look, people are gonna get it. And you know, just my best advice to anybody is, if you're gonna spend good money, see how the person that's selling dogs treats you, talks to you. See if they're willing to spend the extra time. Yes, there's hundreds of people that call and waste time, but we used to be that person. You know, look at Flyout. You know, I got a guy flying from New York just to make sure Capone's gonna be there because he wants to take a picture with Capone and post it on his exotic man cave where he has bear pictures, tiger pictures, and he wants Capone. And that to me means that I'm marketing Capone well. You know, he might not be the most famous dog, I don't ask, but he's the most widest dog out there, period. He's the kind of dog where, again, you see him, I always say seeing is believing. I always say love it, hate it, I respect it. You know, he's one of the widest dogs that I've ever seen in my life. You know, and coming from old school days when I see a bunch of old school guys coming to see him, it's just, it's breathtaking, you know. And but no disrespect to all the lowriders, the mixes, the exotics, the bullies, the American bullies, that bully, my mama's bullies. If you're doing a positive thing for everybody and you're being true and real to yourself, then that's what we're doing.